to talk about Paqueta signing for West Ham for a record fee. Let's bring in our transfer god, Alex Crook. Strong, skillful. Not talking about you, I'm talking about Paqueta. What's a signing for West Ham United, Alex?
I thought that was going to be a lovely introduction for me to the programme. Yeah, good evening. What a signing this is. A fee in excess of £50 million, a club record fee for West Ham to sign the Brazilian international from Lyon. It's going to be a long-term contract, 5 years, with the option of another year on top of that. There were some concerns. I got a few messages from West Ham fans earlier today that maybe because this deal was taking so long to be completed and to be formally announced that another Premier League club were looking to hijack it. Clearly that hasn't been the case, and I'm surprised by that, actually. I thought there would be more interest in Paqueta. He's been linked with Newcastle. My understanding is he was never really on their radar. Same with Arsenal. I think West Ham have got a really exciting player, and actually, quietly, they spent quite a few quid this summer, West Ham.
They have. Let me just explain about Paqueta, because Danny and I were talking about him off air. Am I reluctant to compare him to Di Canio? He's got the potential to entertain West Ham fans, Danny, as much as Di Canio did.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd agree with that?
Yep.
He can spot a pass and then execute it in an incredibly skillful way that I don't think many can. They can't even see the pass, never mind execute it. So he's an all-round entertainer. I think he's got a work ethic. I'm not so sure you're as convinced
I'd have
about
to
that.
say, yeah, well, look, he can play in central midfield, but his ideal is an 8 or a 10, where he's got people behind him like Rice or Souček who do the running and the doggy work, because he's wasting his energy. But he's a physical lad. You know, he's not one of these little small, low sense of gravity number 10s or 8s that, you know, is a bit of a luxury.
He can go shoulder to shoulder
yeah,
with people.
yeah, and he doesn't mind a tackle, but he's double figures goals a season. He's double figures assists. He's somebody, I think, Crookie, who could build up that rapport with the fans like Payet, like Di Canio. They're going to love watching him play because he's got the skills, he's got the tricks, he's got the little bits of magic. He's got that wow factor, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think this is the type of signing that West Ham fans will buy into. I think it's the type of signing that certainly has got that particular group of supporters excited. I think the same with Scamacca, who actually I commentated their game yesterday. I thought Scamacca was largely anonymous, probably due to a lack of service, in fairness to him. But they brought Scamacca, they brought Paqueta now. They've obviously brought in Agard, who unfortunately got injured.
Yeah, that was a blow,
very
wasn't
early
it?
on. Yeah, it was really. I think that's disrupted them at the start of this season. They wanted a left-sided defender. They've got Emerson. They've tried, as David Moyes has publicly admitted, for so many players this summer. So I don't think we can any longer accuse Messrs Sullivan and Gold of lacking ambition. This is certainly an ambitious signing for West Ham.
It's a brilliant signing. For any West Ham fan that's not seen him, you're going to enjoy it. You won't mind spending your money to go and watch this.
Well, I think the comparison with Payet is absolutely spot on. And when you think about that season, Leicester won the league. West Ham were brilliant that season, and he was sensational. They finished, I think, 4 points off a Champions League place. They lost 2 of the last 3 games as well. So that's how close they were. Think about that. That's how close West Ham were to doing something very special. So we've talked about them, getting European football 2 seasons running. I just wonder if this could make them even more serious challenges. And I know, Crookie, they've had a really bad start to the season, but if it falls into place and if he's happy and comfortable and he's able to express himself and do the things that he's very good at and been very good at, the Brazilian international, then this could be a signing that elevates West Ham to somewhere I don't think their fans think they could possibly get to this season.
Yeah, and I guess you could draw comparisons as well, although they are very different players, to Newcastle signing Bruno Guimaraes in January. I think there's always a certain aura, isn't there, a certain stardust whenever a club in the Premier League signs a Brazilian, and Bruno has struck up a brilliant rapport with the fans up in the northeast. I'm sure you've experienced that yourself, Adrian. I think it could be similar. I think this could be a real lightning rod moment for West Ham. As you say, they haven't started brilliantly, but they got that first win crucially against Aston Villa yesterday, and I would expect them to kick on from here now.
You got me excited about him, Danny. Can we let's talk about some other transfer possibilities. Nottingham Forest, I'm sure they're going to get to 20 players before the window closes. And here's a question for you, right? Nottingham Forest have made all these signings. What, are we up to 18 so far? You can fill us in on the latest news in a moment, Crookie, but we're up to 18, I think. And yet they started yesterday's game with Joe Worrell, Steve Cook and Scott McKenna as the centre halves. £150 million, yet those 3 were the centre halves. I mean, would you not be looking at it thinking, hang on a minute, Have we made the right signings here? Danny, would you not, if you're a Forest fan, think, hang on a minute, come on?
I think too many signings, too much money, not needed.
Right.
Not with his coaching ability anyway. And I can take your point wholeheartedly about the three centre. Honest as the day is long, the three of them. But that's your foundation. And while you haven't got that sorted, you're struggling.
Yeah. Crookie, who else is coming in? Renan Lodi's already arrived, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was formally announced yesterday, so that is signing number 18. I think they will get to 20. I think Willy Bolly of Wolves will probably end up there to strengthen that defence that you've just mentioned. I think there is something laudable as well about Steve Cooper keeping faith with the players that got Nottingham Forest promoted, because it's a difficult balancing act, isn't it? Bringing in two new teams as they have done, and not alienating the players who have done so well, and that team spirit they clearly galvanised last season. So yeah, Willy Bolly I think will sign from Wolves. They're looking for a fee of around about £3 to £5 million. He was supposed to be in the squad for Wolves yesterday and didn't turn up, so he must be quite confident that he is leaving Molineux pretty soon. And Serge Aurier as well, former Tottenham defender, I think is likely to end up at the City ground, so that would take them to 20 signings this summer. And it's going to be fascinating to see how it works out, because I'm sure you've already spent a bit of time discussing Bournemouth and their approach and their 9-0 defeat against Danny's old club Liverpool at the weekend. They're doing it very differently. They're not splashing the cash that Nottingham Forest have, and we've seen recent examples. What was it, Fulham? Not last time they were in the Premier League, but the time before they did something similar and still got relegated. So it's a dangerous tactic.
It's a balance,
spend all this money.
It's a balance. You've got it's a balance. You know, you've got to spend some money. They lost 8 players, Forest, I think, when they came up, so they had to replace 8.
I'd also defend Forest spending the money they spent on Morgan Gibbs-White, because he's 22 years old.
I like him.
He's played over 100 games already in the top 2 divisions. I like him as well, and Steve Cooper knows all about him.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
and so it might seem like a lot of money, but you're spending money on players to try and keep you in the Premier League. That's the first thing you've got to do. And remember, Forest, this stage last season, were rock bottom of the Championship. So he's brought them a long way in a short space of time.
He's done an amazing job. I actually thought they played well against Tottenham. I thought it was a brilliant performance for the majority of it. They just come up against world-class strikers. I like what he's doing, but I think it's nearly impossible to bring that many players in and get them all on, get the message across to all of them quickly enough to get results in the Premier League. You're asking a lot from a lot of players quickly to take on board his message and get them playing his way. It's hard.
Crookie, let's rattle through a few more because there's loads going on. Manchester United, first of all on Dubravka, then talk to us about Anthony and Ronaldo.
Dubravka, I'm told, is a done deal. It will be a loan from Newcastle with the option of a permanent £5 million move at the end of the season. I think Newcastle actually wanted a permanent move now. United weren't keen on that, and Dubravka,
can he play out from the back, pleaded.
Well, he can do it better than David De Gea.
So could you?
But could I? Yeah, I could certainly do it better than David De Gea. But Dubravka pleaded with Newcastle to let him go. He's got that move to Old Trafford. Listen, it's not an exciting signing, but it's a player that United needed, having loaned out Dean Henderson. Anthony is an excited signing. Yes, the transfer fee is excessive, but I don't think we can really hold that against him. No player asked to be signed for £84 million, but United have paid over the odds. But this is somebody that Erik ten Hag clearly has a lot of belief in. I heard Marcel van der Kraan earlier on talkSPORT saying he's not the finished article yet. He isn't world class, but he has the potential to be. £84 million, a lot of money for potential.